I spoke at an X space last weekend and it ended up being more reflective than I expected. I didn't plan for it to carry much weight, but I showed up to share my journey. So as the conversation unfolded, I found myself answering questions that literally made me pause to think deeper. And somewhere in between the answers, I started to realize a lot of what I called challenges were actually mindset shifts that I had to grow through. I was asked how I started in tech without a tech background. I entered a completely new environment where the way of thinking was different, and I didn't realize that that was the real challenge at first. I kept thinking my issue was not knowing enough code, but it was actually the shift in thinking that I had to grow into. I was also asked how I manage tech, school, and music at the same time. So, honestly, it's not something I perfectly balance. It was more of structure than balance. Some days I'm coding in the morning, recording music at night, or switching between both depending on what needs my attention at the moment. So, it's not always smooth, but it's consistent enough to keep me moving. Another question was around consistency. And I realized consistency for me was less about motivation and more about staying in motion even when things didn't feel clear. There were phases where I didn't feel like I was progressing fast enough, but I kept showing up anyway. One thing I also spoke about was visibility. For a very long time, I focused heavily on building randomly, but I didn't realize I was underplaying the importance of being seen while building intentionally. I invested in courses, not because I didn't know a few things, but because I realized I was doing certain things in isolation, especially content. I was posting, but not intentionally. I thought if my work was good, it would naturally speak. Over time, I had to learn that visibility is also part of growth, especially in tech and creative spaces. What stood out to me most after the session wasn't what I said. It was realizing how many of my past struggles were actually misunderstandings of what the real problem was. Not code or talent, but thinking, visibility, and structure. You don't always notice your growth while you're in it. Sometimes you only see it when you're explaining your journey to someone else.